Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault Jersey. Joe Archino back here, and I think you continue to watch the Golden State Warriors, and I don't think that there's any surprise. They've been pretty darn good this season. Another one last night. They defeat the Chicago Bulls 125-94, and most importantly, they do it on the road. And I'll never forget, one of my lifelong friends was Coach Jack Kern, a New York City coaching legend. He unfortunately passed away a couple years ago, but I think one of the messages that he always preached and I always took away was he said one of the hardest things, if not the hardest thing, in professional sports is traveling on the road in the NBA. The amount of travel to cold weather places, the repetition, the grind of traveling constantly takes a physical toll on your body, on your mind. It is not easy to do, and it's what makes the NBA such a difficult, rigid sport. 82 games, a lot of those times. If you're a team like the Warriors going on the road, traveling to all these cold weather places, doing it all the time, it can really take a toll on you, and certainly does and has done so on teams. But with that said, it has not affected the Golden State Warriors. Now, they are 19-0 at home at the Oracle Arena, where they never seem to lose. That's just the best fan environment in professional basketball. But they are also 20-4 on the road. And I think the thing that has helped them and will continue to help them is they're such a young team. Part of the reason the travel and the fatigue and the wearing down that doesn't affect them is because they are such a young team. They don't really have to worry about that grind taking a toll on their bodies. They're up. They have fresh legs. They're just have a very deep team on top of all of that. That stuff doesn't really ever get talked about, and I think it rightfully is. I mean, I think when you look at a team like the San Antonio Spurs, still built with a lot of veterans. I mean, they have been remarkable as well. They only have two more losses than the Warriors do, but with that said, as we get further and further along into the season, I think more than anything, it's kind of a war of attrition. It's who can last the longest with their fresh legs, with their speed, with their tempo. Golden State's the fastest team in the NBA. They play so quickly, they run up and down the floor so quickly, taking shots, and that speed is kept up so well balanced because of how young the team is. And when you're already that technically skilled and you're already that technically efficient and you have all the speed and the youth on top of all those things, there's not a lot of recipes to beat you. And I think the more and more we look at things, look, life in sports isn't that complicated. You look at the teams, you watch who's the best, and it's pretty easy to figure it out. There's not a team that we've seen who can really match Golden State. Yes, Golden State will have a hiccup now and then. They'll lose a game like they did to Milwaukee to break up their streak. But overall, if you're giving me a 7-game series and you're telling me that I have to pick a team to beat them 4 times, I'm not going to do it. It's just not going to happen with their youth, with their depth. And I think this whole travel thing is a foreshadowing of yet another title for the Golden State Warriors. It's not a concept that gets talked about a lot, but the fatigue in the NBA, the amount of traveling teams have to do, takes a toll. It takes a mental toll, it takes a toll on your body, and it really means something. But with all that said, again, it doesn't affect the Golden State Warriors. It has not affected them. Their losses have all come on the road, but again, they won't ever lose a game with the Oracle Arena, and I think it's worth noting that this is such a young team, and it's the thing, they're going to probably be in the finals the next 3 straight years. I really believe that. I think the West is competitive, not as competitive as it was last year. I mean, you look at the bottom of the West this year compared to last year when you had almost every team in that top 8 winning at over 50 games. It really is a night and day difference. But I mean, the Warriors, the Spurs, the Thunder, I think there's a big drop in separation after the 3 of them. But even with those top 2, with the Thunder, with the Spurs, I still think that again, it's a war of attrition. Who can last longer? I always am going to put my money on the Golden State Warriors to do that. We shift to the East a little bit, and I think the Cavs are kind of a similar thing. A lot of balance on that team. LeBron James, obviously the most important player, being the main veteran on that ball club, but I still think they'll have their legs for the most part too. I mean, I've been adamant all along. I mean, we're going to see a rematch of the finals from last year. I still think the Warriors win it. I've never picked against LeBron James to lose when the stage is at his biggest, but I mean, you look at the culmination of things that we've seen from the Golden State Warriors, and I just don't think that you see a recipe for losing. I think they're too young. I think they have too much depth, and I think one of the case in points to make is the travel of the NBA, the fatigue, how difficult it is does not affect the Warriors like many other things do. I mean, to have a game against the Cavaliers like that and to blow them out as exceptionally as they did, and to then just turn around and do the same thing to the Bulls on the road, that really is a case in point as to why the Golden State Warriors are so good, and I think it's a more of a case in point as to why they will win yet another NBA title back to back and defend their crown. But until next time, Jersey Joe Archino here. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino, on Instagram Jersey_Joe_Archino, and I will be back very soon.